The day you stop seeing your mother as just a parent and start seeing her as a woman who survived her own heartbreak is the day your own healing begins. But if you let your pride and your busyness steal your time, my dear, you will eventually find yourself begging for answers from a headstone. Let me pour you a warm cup of tea. I was just sitting here, watching the leaves fall, and my mind drifted to a place it often goes these days. It drifted to my mother. You know, when you reach my age, the noise of the world fades away. The endless rushing, the striving, the caring about what the neighbors think, it all just melts into nothingness. What you are left with is the silence. And in that silence, memories speak the loudest. Today, I want to talk to you about something that sits heavy on my heart. A quiet ache that I hope to save you from. We spend so much of our youth trying to break free from our parents. We want to prove we are our own people, that we do not need their rules or their worried glances. But in our rush to build our own lives, we often forget a fundamental truth. We forget that our mothers are people, too. People with profound secrets, abandoned dreams, silent heartbreaks, and stories that will vanish from this earth forever if we do not take the time to ask them. I remember my mother as a woman of immense, quiet strength. Her hands were always busy. If she wasn't kneading dough, she was mending a torn dress or pulling weeds from the garden until the sun sank below the horizon. Growing up, and even into my own adulthood, I was so completely wrapped up in my own world. My first job, falling in love, the exhausting days of raising my own children. I looked at her and saw only one dimension, mother. I never looked at her and saw the vibrant, complex woman she was before I ever existed. I never thought to ask her about the passions she had to let go of so that I could have a warm bed and a full plate. There was one rainy Tuesday afternoon, much like today. I had stopped by her house to drop off some groceries. She was sitting in her favorite floral armchair, staring out the window, holding a small, faded photograph. I was in a terrible rush, as always. I had a fussy toddler on my hip and my mind was racing through a mental checklist of chores waiting for me at home. She looked up at me, her eyes clouded with a nostalgia I was too blind to recognize, and she said softly, "Did I ever tell you about the summer before I met your father?" And God forgive me, I sighed. I looked at the clock and said, "Not right now, Mama. I am already late. We will talk about it next time." Next time. Oh, what a foolish, arrogant phrase that is. We toss the words "next time" around as if we are the masters of the universe, as if tomorrow is a guarantee written in stone. My dear, there was no next time. She passed away quietly in her sleep just a few weeks later. When we cleaned out her home, sorting through the remnants of a beautiful, quiet life, I found that exact photograph tucked inside her Bible. It was her, barely 20 years old, standing next to a train station with a suitcase at her feet and a look of wild, untamed hope in her eyes. Where was she going that day? What was she dreaming of? Who was that girl? I will never know. The silence of those unanswered questions has echoed in my soul for over 60 years. I never asked her how she survived the unimaginable grief of losing her first child. I never asked her if she felt loved enough by my father. I never asked her to forgive me for the times I was cruel, distant, and ungrateful, as children so often are. The conversations I never had with my mother became ghosts that followed me into my own journey of motherhood. I realized too late that I had lived alongside a stranger. I knew her habits, her favorite color, how she liked her tea, but I did not know her heart. Listen to me closely, my child. Look into my eyes. You might be watching this thinking you have an abundance of time. You might be holding onto a bitter anger, nursing old childhood wounds, waiting for your mother to finally apologize, or waiting for some perfect moment to ask the hard questions. I am telling you to stop waiting. The perfect moment is a myth, and pride is a terribly cold companion when you are old and alone. We often view our mothers through a very narrow, selfish lens of what they did right or what they did wrong by us. But they were young women once, just doing the absolute best they could with the broken tools they were given by their own parents. They carried traumas they never spoke of. They had a silent strength that kept the roof over our heads while their own hearts were breaking. Now I know what some of you are thinking. I hear your heavy hearts. You're saying, "But grandmother, my mother was not kind. She was toxic." She hurt me deeply and disrespected my boundaries. I see your pain, my dear. I validate it entirely. And if that is your story, the lesson is different, but equally important. Sometimes, the conversation you never had is the one where you finally stand up for your own dignity. It is the moment you draw a line in the sand and say, I love you, but I will not let your unhealed trauma destroy my peace. Knowing your worth means knowing when to walk away, even from your own blood. Stop begging for a seat at a table where you aren't even respected, even if your mother sits at the head of it. But even in your distance, try to seek an understanding of her history. Not to excuse her abusive behavior, but to free your own soul from the burden of her actions. Hurt people, my dear. Understanding the profound pain your mother endured does not mean you must tolerate her cruelty, but it gives you the emotional closure to walk away with grace. It allows you to realize that her inability to love you properly was a reflection of her own shattered spirit, not a reflection of your true value. Do not let her brokenness dictate your self-worth. Whether your mother is your best friend or someone you had to walk away from for your own survival, the lesson remains the same. Seek the truth of who they are. Do not let assumptions replace actual conversations. This regret of mine, this heavy, quiet regret, it fundamentally changed who I became as I grew older. It made me fiercely determined to be an open book for my own children and my grandchildren. I absolutely refuse to take my stories to the grave. I sit them down and I tell them everything. I tell them about my terrible mistakes, my rebellious days, the times my heart was shattered into a million unfixable pieces, and the times I failed as a mother. I tell them so they know that their grandmother is not just a frail old woman in a rocking chair giving advice, but a real woman who lived, cried, failed, and fought her way through this difficult world. I want to leave them with a legacy of absolute truth, not a legacy of comfortable silence. Because in the end, when all is said and done, that is all we really leave behind, our stories. The money fades, the houses crumble, the physical possessions are sold or thrown away, but a story shared across a kitchen table lives on for generations. We begin to heal our family lines when we start talking. We break devastating generational curses when we finally drag our dark family secrets out into the light. My mother did not know how to do that. Her generation was taught to swallow their pain, put on a brave face, and keep a tidy house. But we know better now. You know better now. So, as you go about the rest of your day today, I want you to carry this little piece of wisdom in your pocket. Time is a relentless thief, but love is the anchor that holds us steady. Pick up the phone today. Make the drive. Brew the tea. Ask the questions. Ask her what she wanted to be when she was a little girl. Ask her what her greatest fear is. Even the uncomfortable questions. And when she answers, listen without judgment. Let her be human. Let her be flawed. And most importantly, let her be known. You are so precious, my dear. You have such a beautiful, capable heart. I am so glad you chose to sit with me today and share this time. Thank you for listening to An Old Woman's Memories. May your days be filled with meaningful, honest words, and may your life be entirely empty of regrets. Take beautiful care of yourself, stand tall in your worth, and never let anyone silence your voice. If these words touched your spirit today, please share this video with someone who might need to hear it right now. Leave a comment down below and tell me, what is one question you wish you could ask your mother? Or what is a profound story she shared that you will never forget? Subscribe to our little community here and ring the bell so you know when I am pouring the next cup of tea. We will share more stories very soon.